Question of the day: what is your favorite gimmick in board gaming, in the hobby? What is your favorite thing that is a kind of a neat little thing that a game does? For instance, maybe it's a mechanic, maybe it's an art piece, maybe it's a piece that goes on the board, some unique 3D thing, maybe it's the Everdell tree. What's your favorite gimmick when it comes to a board game? You know, there's the tiny epic series, there's the grandioseness of certain other games, but what is your favorite gimmick? Let me know in the comments down below that you've seen. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's something with art, maybe it's something with direction of the game. Let me know what that is. Oh, it could be digital, you know, it could be the things like Chronicles of Crime. What is your favorite gimmick when it comes to a board game? Right now, let me know in the comments below, because today we're taking a look at a game with a gimmick. It's a game with a gimmick called Tiny Ninjas. This is from Tooniverse Games, or Tooniverse Games. I should feel bad that I don't know how to say that, but Bryan Laniger. Let's take a look now at what this game does. Is it just a gimmick, or is it a game with a gimmick, not a gimmick that has a game shoehorned into it? Let's take a look right now how you play Tiny Ninjas, what it's all about. Come back up, discuss, is this something you should check out in its tiny goodness right now. The question we naturally have to ask is this it? Is this really all there is to it? But yes, it is. 15 minutes, 2 players, 8 and up. Say, well, how do you get the box? Whoa, what do you mean? How do you get the box open? Wait, everything seems to be right here. Well, that's right. Everything is inside of this box. You even put these two slats here into the box to make it where it's more solid, and it creates a nice little dice pool here for things that are going to happen in the game. Cards stay here in this area. You have these little life counters which go up here, which this is fantastic art direction if you ask me. Life counters go here, tell you how much life your character has. And then you have your dice here, the 2 different dice. These are a variant, you can play with them or not, but you have the 2 different dice, the kunai or the shoryuken dice. These can just, well, you do have to get them out of the little storage tin, but normally that doesn't happen. That's never been a problem before, but this can stay here because A, it's thematic. I love that there's an actual like forest right there. It looks pretty great. But also your cards will go here, discard over there, and your dice up there in the dice tray. Instructions are here, and that's it. That's the whole setup of the game. How easy, how simple is it that the setup is inside of the box, and the box is the game. I really like the way that works. 2 reference cards here that really detail everything you need to know to play this game as far as what the symbols on the cards mean, what type of dice they are, what defends against what, how you take damage. But basically on your turn, you're going to, so you'll draw 5 cards into your hand. They do different things. Now ignore the text for now, but basically they tell you which die to roll. So you'll be rolling the kunai dice on this one. If you roll a 1, it does 1 damage. If you roll a 2, it does 2 damage. Down here, if you're using this as a defense card, you would roll the shuriken dice, and if you roll an orange, you do 0 defense, green is 1, purple is 2. Pretty simple how that works. Now, some of them have text involved, like this one is sneak attack, where if you roll the kunai dice and you roll a 3, it says you just do 2 damage to them straight. They couldn't defend against it. But your defense is listed at the bottom, your attack's listed at the top. It's a pretty simple system. Now, some of them, again, have text on there, but you don't have to look at that right now, but they basically just do specialty things. Now, you'll have 5 cards. You can play as many as you want on your attacker turn, but here's the kicker. When you switch to the defender, you don't draw back up. You only draw back up when you become the attacker again, which means that you are stuck with whatever card you have left in your hand while you're defending. So they'll have 5 cards, whereas you will only have these cards that you have left in their hand. So certain colors only defend against other colors. So red defends against red, blue defends against blue, yellow defends against everything. But just know that you don't have that many cards left. But that's how you play the game. It goes to you take 10 damage. Whoever takes 10 damage first dies. Now you can do the sensei variant where you add these sensei tokens here, and once you use their power, you just kind of move it up to show how many times they can be used. There's solo variants. There are actual play mode variants. For instance, there's a blitz mode. There's a survivor mode. There's a champion mode. There's a solo mode. There's tons of stuff, and there's a lot of QR codes in here that teach you how to play the game quickly. But that's Tiny Ninjas in a nutshell, or in a tiny game box shell right there. So that's it. That's the gimmick too. The gimmick is the game is the box. The box is the game, but it's still a solid card dice fighting game. So the question is, Is it more than its gimmick? Absolutely. I think this is a fantastic use of a gimmick. For instance, the gimmick is that the entire game fits inside of the box, so much so that it comes with little strengtheners to straighten the lid out to where when you're playing, you can use it as a dice box to roll the dice in. You have a place where the cards actually fit to where when you're drawing them, they can be in here. And here's why this is important. You know, Carl and I were on the road 150, 180 days a year as professional illusionists, magicians, mentalists, whatever you want to call it, right? We're in a ton of airplanes and a ton of airports. We always talk about, man, it'd be great to have some good, solid airplane tray table games because we sit together, obviously. Tray table games. This is an absolute tray table game. And what I mean by that is when you open this up, this is as big as the game ever gets. It never gets more than this. This fits on your tray table. So you're playing a full size. Now look at this. I love this. The fact that these plug into it as well. Full size card fighting game with dice involved, with some interesting mechanics that takes use of its gimmick and makes it more than the gimmick. I love, love, love how this works with Tiny Ninjas. Now, as far as the game itself, the quality of the actual play of the game, really cool idea is the idea that your card that you play, maybe you'll do 1, 2, or 3 damage, depending on the dice you roll. Maybe you play this card that allows you to roll the dice that you would rather roll, so you can potentially inflict more damage. I love the byplay between the cards that you have in your hand and the damage you can do by rolling that specific type of dice. I love the variable outcomes, plus the special ninja cards that give you printed player powers and things like that that are on there. I love how it changes the game from just like, hey, I'm going to play this card. Can you defend against that card? Oh, nope, too bad. It's, I'm going to play this card and get to roll that dice. And because this card says that that result means this, well, then it's even better. So I love how each card can change based on the die roll, and also the die changes what the card can even do, like between other cards. So one card may look exactly the same. It's got the same, the Shuriken and the, I can't remember the other knife, the knife game. The knife dice, you may roll the colors or you may roll the numbers. Now, they may look the same in the cards, but you'll notice that the damage is different because they're different cards. I really like that. It's hard for me to explain that what I'm saying, but what I mean is they might be the same thing. You get to roll either this dice or this dice in 3 symbols or 2 symbols, but whether it's based on the number or based on the color, the damage might be way different. So I love the variability there that the dice can add to a card. Really nice stuff. Not to mention, I like the fact that you can have some for shields, you know, defend against these damages, and then you fight it out to the death. Really cool game. I really think you should check out Tiny Ninjas because it's a fun experience of tininess done well, where it's not just a gimmick, it's an actual game that just happens to be tiny to where it fits on the tray table of an airplane. So that's Tiny Ninjas. Go check it out. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. For more, make sure to follow me on Twitter at TheLatestRetro and on Instagram at the same place at TheLatestRetro. And I will see you next time here on the Dice Tower.
So much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower